Troy, it's Eric. Have you ever seen any of the Naked Gun movies?
Yes.
Okay. There's one scene in one of the movies where Leslie Nielsen is standing in front of a burning building, and he's waving his arms and saying, "Remain calm, there is nothing to see." And that was the narrative about Peyton Manning during the entire preseason. Remain calm, not a problem, there's nothing to see. After game one, should everyone at Dove Valley still be waving their arms? There's nothing to see, not a problem.
They're not at panic stage, Eric, but there's concern because they're trying to marry two concepts. You know, a run, hurry up offense with a ground-based attack. And it's complicated by a number of factors beyond Manning and his age, is the fact that their offensive line played their first snaps together against the Ravens against a very good defense. So that muddies the picture a little bit. I don't think we're going to have an idea of who they are offensively, Eric, until after the Detroit game. And if we're sitting there then and Manning's had 3 consecutive ordinary performances and the line is still struggling, then yes, it's a reason to be alarmed. After one game against the Ravens, a team that's got a Super Bowl type caliber defense, at least before they lost Suggs, not reason to panic, but it's a fascinating situation, Eric. There's no doubt that how do you get Peyton Manning to fit in an offense that he really hasn't run since, what, 2003 with Edgerrin James? I mean, he hasn't run an offense like this in more than a decade. So it's really a fascinating experiment, and where is it going to end up? And right now we don't know. They don't have an offensive identity yet.
Troy, we all sat in that news conference after the game yesterday and saw an annoyed, frustrated, cranky Peyton Manning. But I got to tell you, and you know this too, because you've been around him ever since the OTAs started, he has been annoyed and cranky and frustrated for a few months now. What are all the reasons he comes off that way to us? And I am reading him right, yes?
I have seen less of that in the other OTAs, certainly because he was buying in. He can get upset about, upset's the wrong word, but irritable about not getting to practice, taking days off. He's not a fan of that. So there was days clearly when we talked to him and he wished he had practiced instead of working out, you know, on the side with trainers or whatever. But he was certainly irritable yesterday, and I think that's for a couple of reasons, Les. One, he didn't play particularly well. He's not used to not playing well. Two, how many times has he not played well and they won? It's an awkward position where he's talking about a win. He didn't have much of an influence on. That you could argue that's been twice in his Broncos career where they've won when he didn't play well, counting last year at Kansas City. And three, he's at an age now where kind of every week is becoming a referendum on him.
Yeah.
Is he done?
He's annoyed by the questions, isn't he?
Yes, and I don't know that, and that's the process of an aging athlete that's always been the star. Now every question is, man, you still have it. What's wrong with you? And he's not used to those questions on a weekly basis. He might have gotten those questions on a yearly basis before. Now it's every week is a referendum on Peyton Manning, his age, and this offense. And he's not comfortable answering those questions.